In the first few parts of this video series, I discovered a scamming call centre who had CCTV. I was able to use their own CCTV to watch how they ran their scams. They had a secret office out the back of their main building where around 20 to 30 scammers would operate on a daily basis. They would get bonuses paid in cash for scamming people in Australia, UK and the US. And they would run multiple scams. They would pretend to be Amazon or Microsoft and send out pop-up messages to infect people's computers. But it was only when I started working with a BBC documentary crew that the world had its attention on this scam.
Thank you for holding the line. I really appreciate your time and patience. My name is Chris Lawson.
I bet it's nice and warm where you are.
Yeah, it is very hot here in California.
Ah, bloody hell, I'll have to come over there then.
Yeah, please. We'll go to the beaches, you know.
Ah, that'd be nice.
The BBC produced this trailer before their documentary, and it had a huge impact.
We need to repair all the services which got broken, alright?
Yeah, I see that.
Sir, there would be a charge of $12.95, okay?
Oh, bloody hell, yeah, I heard that.
So let me get it done. Hey, why are you crying, man? You're a very good man. Why are you crying?
I suffer from depression.
No, sir. Everything will be okay. Don't worry, okay?
Yeah.
Now, promise me you won't cry again, okay?
These pictures of scammers laughing at one of their unfortunate victims had a very profound effect on quite a number of people. And the CCTV caught not just the scammers themselves, but the boss, Amit Chohan. And by tracing the payments from the victims, it led directly to this call centre boss. It also showed him planning some scams and taking advice from others who were clearly experienced in this sort of fraud.
If we focus on the bottom line, that is how we should measure our success. We don't give a about the customer.
And I was able to show a direct link between the victim's payments and Amit Chohan's accounts. And with that money, he was living a luxury lifestyle. And thanks to the BBC and this trailer, it caught the attention of quite a few media organisations. The story went as far as New Zealand. So when the TV documentary was broadcast on UK national television on the 2nd of March 2020, it reached a very wide audience. And one of the people supposedly watching was this man. His name is Karan Goel and he heads up the cybercrime police in Gurugram, the location of Amit's scam call centre. And in under 12 hours from the broadcast of the TV programme, Karan's team raided the call centre. And they went into the right place. They went to the building behind Faremart where the scammers were located. They also went to Amit Chohan's luxurious home address, and there they picked up some of his laptop equipment. Chohan was living in the DLF Magnolias building in New Delhi. The Magnolias apartment complex was a luxurious location. It overlooked an Olympic-sized swimming pool and had access to a golf course. And Chohan's rent for this apartment was 5 lakh or 500,000 rupees, that's about $6,000 per month. That sort of rent is almost unheard of in Delhi. And according to reports, the laptop contained the scripts which the scammers would use to dupe their victims. And they also uncovered personal details of those victims, including email addresses, credit and debit card numbers, and checks written to one of the many aliases. So as Goel was giving the press conference, he revealed some of the critical details of the arrest. And it wasn't just Amit Chohan who was arrested. Here on the right is Sumit Kumar, who was supposedly the accountant for this company. The newspaper reports revealed that Chohan and Kumar were both college dropouts, and that the police had sufficient evidence to press charges against both. So bizarrely, hand in hand with their arresting police officers, they were paraded in front of the cameras in the Gurugram police station. So this is obviously an amazing success, something I never thought would be possible. But honestly, I don't think anything would have happened had I just produced the video on my own. It really needed the extra media attention. But there are still a number of loose ends, particularly how are the victims going to get their money back? Well, there's at least one good news story, because the person who was featured at the start of this video, who lost more than £1,200, has been compensated. But that didn't come through the seizure of assets. Instead, someone who's a viewer of my channel felt so sorry for the man who had been crying and was suffering from depression that he offered to return all of the money that was scammed to him from his own pocket. I've got to keep the victim's details as private as possible, but Rory, on behalf of this entire channel, thank you for being so generous to a complete stranger. And police in Gurugram have asked anyone who thinks they may be a victim of this scam to get in touch via the email address on screen and in the description. But there was more than just Chohan and his accountant involved in this scam. We had CCTV which showed him meeting with some of his business associates, and they were the ones who were able to explain to him how certain scams would work. And even though they had been caught red-handed explaining how those scams would be set up, they still had the nerve to complain about the videos which had their faces and names already blurred on YouTube. So even though I'd been careful to blur out their details, they still wanted to silence me, and it's understandable. So in a clear abuse of YouTube's privacy policy, they raised this complaint against me. But I've done absolutely nothing wrong. None of their personal details are revealed, and instead I'm going to put a link in the description to where people can read more about these two characters. But that will of course be outside YouTube. The link will show the evidence that this pair run other scam call centres, and this is how they've got the expertise. Let's just hope that the Haryana police will also take an interest in these two. But the police themselves have work to do to get their own house in order. The official National Cybercrime Reporting Portal only works if you've got an Indian mobile number. And not only that, you have to select the specific state because that particular police force will be the ones investigating. Most people will have an IP address at best and will not know the exact region and therefore the exact police force to get in touch with. And it doesn't help when the Delhi police admit that it's a difficult crime to crack. Their systems should help them. I'm showing a still from the Panorama documentary where they interview one of the police heads in Delhi. He said that very few victims come forward to report the crime, and well, their portal won't help in that respect. And it's also almost impossible to identify the call centre involved, and I totally agree with that. If more people were allowed to legally do what I do, I'm certain sure that a lot of these call centres would be uncovered and more arrests could be made. But this is why I do what I've been doing. You cannot tell from the phone number or anything to do with the caller ID who is behind the scam. You don't even need a physical telephone line in your office to run these robocall scams. And there are hundreds of these scam call centres throughout India, mostly in the Delhi and Kolkata regions, but also in some of the other major cities. I have reported to the police almost every one of the pins on this map, but until now, nothing has been done about it. So I'm hoping that this series of videos can actually make a real change in India and the Indian police's ability to act on the reports that I send. I still can't encourage anyone to do exactly what I do because it's perceived as illegal. However, when the scammer connects to my computer, I can show 100% of the time that they were trying to steal money from me. This may not be a valid defence, but at least it will probably discourage a complaint. But there may be some unexpected benefits of this particular scam. On screen is rescam.org.
Hey, nice to meet you. Welcome to Rescam.
And what does this system do?
I'm an artificially intelligent email bot made to reply to scam emails.
I'm anyone and no one.
As far as scammers will know.
I'm you.
And what this bot will do is...
I adopt one of my many personalities.
To continue the conversation of any would-be victim.
I waste their time with a never-ending series of questions and anecdotes.
So that they have less time to pursue real people.
So although this website is geared to automatically replying to scam emails, can you imagine a system which would trap those robocalls and keep scammers occupied with realistic conversations?
They won't know when they're scamming or getting scammed out of their own time. It's bad for business. Deleting a scam email protects you, but forwarding to
me at rescam.org
protects others.
It's also kind of funny. Ha ha!
So because I've got more than 70,000 recordings of real scams, it may be possible through artificial intelligence to keep scammers occupied when they make phone calls. Obviously these calls would need to be anonymised and there are probably some legal implications of all of this, but in theory they could be used to help prevent scams in the future. I'm currently in discussions with a US university to try and do just that. Can we create an artificial intelligence which will keep scammers occupied on the phone? Imagine an automated version of Kitboga or Hoax Hotel. The conversations wouldn't be as funny, but they certainly will be realistic. But since I may never get to see these scammers on their own CCTV again, I'm going to leave you with a little clip with Sam here in the top right being called out by one of his potential victims.
Thank you for calling technical department. You're talking to Sam. How can I help you?
Yeah, what is your company name?
So the company name is Premium Technical Support, and that is based out in California. How can I help you?
Okay, Premium Technical Support. What's your
Right.
address?
Sir, the company is based out in California, San Jose. Alright. So if I ask you, sir, can you please tell me what kind of problem you're facing with the computer?
Yeah, it's a virus you just infected it with.
Okay. So if I ask you, sir, can you please tell me what exactly you were doing on the machine when this came up on the screen?
Oh, I don't know, went to a website and the next thing I know it pops up a little box saying to call you bastards with some kind of bribe or, you know.
Okay. And if I ask you, sir, is that the first time that you came across all these issues with, or you have before as well?
What's that?
I'm asking, is that very first time that you came across all these issues, or you had before as well in the past?
So what do you want? You want my IP address so you can hack me and make me a remote robot or what?
No, of course, sir. So why will I do that? I'm not a hacker.
Well, I don't know. Why is your number there?
Because as I said, like might be it's a Trojan attack, or might be you have some infections in your computer who is creating lots of problems inside your machine. So that is why you have the alert with you, so that before it goes anything wrong, you can get it fixed. That's why you got the our number, okay? Alright? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, I'm just
Right,
curious
so
what scam you guys are running. It's a scam that you're running.
So what do you mean by scam?
Fraud, scam, swindle. What are you selling? What are you trying to do?
So like, first of all, let me tell you,
Here,
so
what
you're
kind
not
of f***ing program or whatever are you trying to sell? You're a scammer.
I'll tell you.
You're not even in the United States.
No, yes, we are. If you want, you can come like physically at our place in California.
Well, I'm just curious, what kind of a fraud ad are you running on a website that pops up and threatens people to call your number?
If you're a patron of mine, you can see a different ending, one which would be an instant demonetization on YouTube, but is very funny. If you would like to support me on Patreon, there's a link here and in the description below, and catch me on Twitter at JimBrowning11. Again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your support.